All right, so let's talk about Jonny Kim. He's a Korean-American NASA astronaut, a US Navy SEAL, and within the teams, he was a medic and a sniper. And he also graduated from Harvard Medical School, so he's a doctor. Amazing, amazing accomplishments. And the thing is, if you were to achieve and become just one of those in a lifetime, that would be considered living the dream. Just to become a NASA astronaut is absolutely wild. But to hit all three of those before the age of 40, I feel like there's a lot of life experiences and wisdom that we can learn from Jonny Kim. And in my own opinion, his most valuable lesson was relayed to us when he was a guest on Jocko Willing's podcast that was about 4.5 hours. And yes, I listened to all of it, and this is what I think is the most important advice that he can share with us. And the lesson is this: human psychology is everything. And expanding on that, the ability to exhibit emotional control and effective communication through constantly and consistently conducting a stakeholder analysis. In other words, it's understanding your audience, but also navigating through your own feelings and emotions to communicate with them without any walls going up for either party. Enough of me, let's listen to Jonny share his thoughts and opinions.
You know, after that, I talked to Leif and Seth, who, as you know, Leif and Seth are not exactly the most, they're not real great at hiding their emotions, right? They're both freaking passionate, emotional guys. And I was like, guys, we cannot, if we talk about this deployment from emotional perspective all the time, we're not going to be able to communicate properly what we learned. And so we have to take a step back, don't get emotional, don't get in arguments about this stuff, just stay detached and communicate what happened.
Human psychology is everything. Learning how to be in control of your emotions, your body language, how you craft your words is probably the most important thing you can do as a leader and as a follower. And it took me many years to learn this. And I'm just kind of smiling as you're talking about this. I did not learn, as a 22-year-old kid coming back from deployment, I did not learn how to detach myself, how to be emotionless. Because while human emotion is what makes us human and is some of the best aspects of what make us human, it is also the biggest hindrance to getting stuff done, to completing the mission. Ego is a part of it, narcissism is a part of it. Those are human emotions, but they're walls. And when you bring emotion to the table, you are mounting defenses that make it hard to get to the core of your argument, of what your vision is. And I've got countless stories where I failed in that endeavor, but have learned through experience and through just watching other people, observing, making mistakes, being in the SEAL teams, of learning to fine-tune that emotional and social intelligence, to know the human psychology of the person you're talking to, of how to disarm their defenses if they are emotional or disagree with you, because people have I firmly believe that all people want good things. We just disagree on how to get from point A to point B, and that's where we mount our defenses and lose sight of the big picture. But if you can take a step back, remove your ego and emotion from the picture and find common ground, that's where you can influence and share your vision to complete your objective. And that's applicable in everything we do. That's applicable in combat, it's applicable in business and medicine. In what I do as an astronaut at NASA is trying to share that vision, trying to get that buy-in. And it all starts with understanding the human condition. And I've got a funny story that I always remember. And I'm embarrassed about it, and I wish if I ever meet this person again, I would like to apologize. There are a lot of people I would like to apologize, and this is one of them. I was home, this is at post-deployment, and I was playing one of the many Call of Duty video games. And this is my brother's girlfriend. And she saw me playing this video game, and I was just getting into it, and she says, "I don't understand war, it's such a waste of life." And there was something inside of me that just, I'm embarrassed to say, but I snapped. And I had, I was stern. I wasn't unprofessional in cussing her out, but I was like, you don't know what you're talking about. How dare you say, not a responsible way of responding back to that. It was born out of emotion because I was hurt, because I took that as an attack against friends that I had just recently lost. And this young woman who had no maliciousness behind her comment and was absolutely surprised with my reaction and was apologetic. But I could have been more effective just slowing down, actually using the intrinsic emotion I was having as a tell, right? Because if you can be a little more control and understanding of your own emotions, it can give you hints as to what is going on and how to properly respond and craft your words to get your message across. I could have, with my body language, with my tone, I could have said something different to let her know how I understand the spirit of her comment, but how that comes across to veterans and how she can be better informed in the future to be more careful with her words and not have snapped back at her. And to this day, I told my brother, and he's like, no, it's not a big deal at all. She's like, she never, she probably wouldn't even remember it, but I still to this day feel bad. And that's just one of many examples where I let my own human emotion get in the way. And for me, my childhood was a phase of learning. The teams were a phase of learning, but post-teams, there was a lot of learning how to be a human that made me suitable to be a candidate for our space exploration program. There's no way I would be in the situation, have the honor and privilege I do now, if it wasn't for all of those experiences.
This is an area that I truly believe every single one of us, you, me, that tripod, can be working on to improve and to get better at. How to manage our emotions in the heat of the moment, but also how to listen and communicate effectively depending on the audience or the circumstance. And with that, I'll talk to you next time. Stay safe.